Hello, everybody, and welcome. You have found us on the Ask Me Anything show by JVology, and I'm your host, Krista Inakovsky, and it's my pleasure to come to you each week and get to highlight and feature one of our amazing community members of JVology who is out there making a big difference in the world in one way or another. And this week, I'm excited to introduce you to Tiffany Cano. How are you today, Tiffany?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me, Krista.
Oh, good. Well, we'll dive into more, a lot, everything you want to talk about as a highly perceptive person and how you work with empaths and what that looks like and means to people. But before we dive into that, just wanted to do a quick introduction of what JVology. We are the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit, a community, a tribe, a training education ground for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that are really made up of amazing thought leaders, experts, coaches, consultants that are out there making a big difference in the world by sharing their gifts. And together, we help to spread the word of what we're doing. We can make a bigger impact by working together. We are better together. So instead of going out there and trying to make it your solo practice and reaching out individuals, it's connecting with other amazing people who maybe serve a similar client, but in a different way. And the people you work with also are interested in how to grow their business or grow their email list or work on their nutrition. And so it's how to reach out and really make a bigger impact and have more fun, more community within your life and your business. And that's what we get to do here at JVology. All right. Oh, let me kick off the show with our intro and we'll be on our way. There we go. Sliding around and action. All right. So welcome, Tiffany.
Hi. And by the way, I love JVology. I joined the year-long mastery program back in 2018, and this community is fantastic. So if you are an entrepreneur and looking for an easier way to grow and expand your business with other JVs and affiliates, it's a really great group.
Oh, thank you for saying that. And we really love having you. Feels like we always have like one activity after another that people can participate in, whether you're brand new or you're really into growing like you are and using joint venture partnerships to expand your reach and your message. We certainly have a lot of fun, and that is a big part of what we feel is important to do is create a business and a life that you love. It all needs to go hand in hand. And so that's really fun. So I just want to introduce you so our audience has a context about what's going on here and what direction we're going today. I always want empathetic. Is that the right word? The right way to say it?
Well, you can be empathetic, but empath is like the noun to describe us.
Okay, the empath is the person, and being empathetic is an action, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it's a way of going things. So many empathetic, sensitive, and spiritual souls hire Tiffany to help them discover their blind spots, which I want to learn more about what those blind spots are. And she helps them heal their deep core wounds because most are subconsciously guarded. They contract when feeling fear and negativity, which impacts their health, their finances, and their relationships. So Tiffany helps them to be more clear and trust their intuition, feel safe, and take confident and empowered action to your own sense of self, which is beautiful. It does affect every aspect of your life. So I love that you brought that up: health, finances, relationships. So tell me more, Tiffany. How did you get into doing this work?
I have always been empathic, sensitive, intuitive since I was a small kid. I could energetically, clairvoyantly, like see people's auras. I could see auras around animals and trees and communicate with people,
Mm.
animals and trees. I could see like a medical intuitive. I can see into people's past lives. I can see what is subconsciously blocking them from greater capacity of health, of love, of money. So for every 100 to 200 conscious thoughts, there's 11 million subconscious, and I'm trained to see the 11 million.
That's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot to
It can
take
be overwhelming when you're this empathic and intuitive. So I've had to actually learn how to turn it off and on at will. And then,
That's a skill in
only,
itself, not to get overwhelmed with what you're
oh,
hearing,
yes.
experiencing. Wow.
Yeah, I train people how to not get so overwhelmed by everything that they're exposed to. Yeah. And by the way, hi, James. Hi, TR. Thanks for your comments. um, so tell me, like in terms of the healings that people want to receive, like those 11 million that I go in to see clairvoyantly, then I have all these tools in my tool belt to just
Okay.
go in and clear them out. So if
Is
someone
it
has
something that you do externally to clear out for somebody else, or are you helping them understand how to release their
both,
own blocks?
both. I mean, I do healing sessions where I'm the one doing the heavy lifting. And then I also have my group mentor program, Embodiment, Conscious Creation, Love, and Empowerment, where I teach them some tools to do it themselves. And I also facilitate group healing in that one as well.
Wow. So I'd like to know, what are people experiencing when they come to you? What is that pain or that discomfort that they're having where they go, you know what, maybe I should talk to Tiffany and work with her?
It varies. If there's an area of their life that they're just not happy with, that they're not satisfied with, whether it's that they want to make more money or they're totally freaked out because of everything that's been happening with COVID and the natural disasters and, can they work? In what ways is safe to work? I'll go in and I'll do a session with them to release that fear, to release the anxiety, to open up receptivity to bringing in greater prosperity and abundance. I think once we open up to the universe and say, hey, I'm ready, come, then the
I do a whole lot
universe
of that. It's like a daily
provides. We just have to get out of our own darn way. And then, some people, they're feeling lonely and they're wanting to have love, and so it's a matter of releasing that loneliness, releasing the wounds of not feeling loved, releasing the wounds of not feeling seen, heard, understood, safe, or that they belong, and then teaching them how to connect within themselves, connect to their higher soul, connect to God. And when that is there is no more loneliness, because there's just an automatic feeling of love and connection. And then any human to human connection that they have is just a bonus.
That's great. And I would imagine that right now during this COVID economy that people more than ever are feeling lonely because they are isolated and there's just we're not together as much as we once were. And so have you noticed that, and what sort of problems are coming up during these last 6 months?
Yes, I think there's a lot of people who have been lonely, even if they don't live alone, but they're living with their roommates or family, but they're lonely for the other people that they're used to seeing and interacting with, but can only do so via telephone or Zoom.
Mhm.
And so, just going in and releasing those emotions, the sadness, the depression, the longing and yearning to fill some void. And then
Releasing, what does that look like? Or is it different for different people? I mean, is it denouncing? Is it yelling and screaming? Is it jumping up and down? Is there like a physical representation? Is it energetic? Or again, is it individual?
It's individual. It's definitely energetic. So for example, I worked with a woman yesterday who wanted to have a better sex life, and she was really blocked in her pelvis, and I can see all these blocks, and there was this frozenness. So with her, I was
You had to let it
simultaneously
go.
doing energy healing, but also having her go in and physically move her body and move her hips,
Yeah.
and do it with the different 5 rhythms of flow and staccato and chaos and lyrical and stillness, just to get some movement while I'm simultaneously going in and scooping away the blocks. So that's one example. Another where I bring in physicality is perhaps someone's not feeling safe. Like during times like this, I think that comes up a lot. So I might have them get into the body posture of where they're not feeling safe. And, a chunk of the times it's like them curled up in a little ball in a cocoon. And then I work with them like how to then, shift out of that, open up and expand their spaces and feel safe. And so I'll do the opposites. I'll do clearing for not feeling safe, and then do clearing for feeling safe, because when you welcome both, then you get neutral and there's no more resistance. And so I do it through energetic healing. I do it through physicality. I do it through having them voice it and own their space, own their power, own their sense of self. And I just feel into it case by case by case on what would be the best option for them. Now, other people, I go in and I do healing of their inner child, because that's the kind of healing for that particular wound that they need. So last week, I did a healing for a woman who was struggling with money, and she had these beliefs about money is bad. So we did some healing going into her inner child, deep into like when she was a toddler.
Finding where that belief was implanted, where it really stemmed from, and letting either that go. Mm-hmm.
And so after we healed the inner child wounds, her new belief was, I love money. And so actually that one I was able to capture as a recording for my Soul of an Empath podcast. So that is episode number 4. If you guys want to experience what that one was like. Yeah.
For me, I mean, I think that and this is just for my own work, I believe everything that's happening energetically, and I like to match it with something physical. And I'm very connected with my body. Or like you're saying what she did, where she's like, she was able to claim it and just state, sounds like loud and proud and with confidence, what that new belief is. And for me, that just kind of helps, make that statement of not just, okay, it happened, but like, yes, it's, claim it and bring it to this physical world.
Yes. So it's a process of cleansing and purifying, then energizing and installing like, okay, what's the healthier habit, healthier pattern, healthier belief, and owning that, claiming it, integrating it into your being, and then bringing that into the world through action. So I always try to do that full spectrum, like, okay, cleanse and purify. Right. Now let's install like what we really want. Okay. And now let's take the right action that will reinforce that belief, that healthy habit, that healthy imprint and pattern.
Absolutely. But you touched on earlier, just briefly, that you're a clairvoyant.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask more for you and your own personal gifts in this. What do you experience?
I can see thousands of TV stations and hear thousands of radio stations. It's a matter of tuning into the one or ones that I need specifically for this individual or group healing. So it varies. Like I see things, I hear things, I feel things. I learned the hard way to feel them as an observer, like on a board in front of me, like a TV screen, instead of observing them in my body and then having myself be tanked because of whatever I'm seeing and feeling. So that is one important tool for empaths, how to be an observer without sponging on other people's crap. And then like when I'm doing a group healing, I can hear the echo of the different subconscious beliefs that everyone has. I can hear the different personality parts. So like somebody's doubter, somebody's like primal cave woman or caveman with their instincts that are chirping something about survival or fear. I can hear the inner child. I can hear, just like different personality parts that are often at that subconscious level. I can, I can, there's so many things that I can see and hear. It's a matter of filtering them so that it's not just noise. And then tuning in.
How did you realize you had these gifts that were unlike other people?
I've always had them. When I was a kid, I thought everybody had them until I found out that they didn't.
Like, what? You don't hear this? You can't see that?
Yeah, I mean, isn't it obvious? And then I realized that some people were totally freaked out by that, when I was a kid. So I had to start, discerning who I can talk to about these things and who I can't.
Well, so did you find someone, I imagine you did at some point, who became a mentor that helped you to understand and work and tune into those gifts and not let them freak you out or be overwhelmed?
Oh, yeah. I've been training with different healing masters, coaches, shamans, spiritual teachers from the age of 13 onward to hone and refine my skills, because I've needed the help and support and to be able to have somebody to talk to about these gifts. And for the most part, it's really been a blessing, but there are times when it's not. And I am super grateful for everybody who has helped me along the way. I mean, I've spent decades learning about metaphysics and spirituality and meditation and connecting with the divine. That's been my sole purpose. And then, being able to facilitate healing has been just how I'm of service to the planet.
That's beautiful. Now, are you able to teach people who don't have highly developed skills like you do,
Yes.
to be a bit more in tune? They may not have that full range that you do ever, but is that something we can tap into?
Yes. I teach people that. I've taught programs specifically to hone and refine the intuition. And a lot of people, whether they actively are searching for it or not, oftentimes when they're working with me one-on-one or in my mentor program, my group program, those skills naturally get developed. But then I also have programs like Developing Your Third Eye to specifically focus on that, if that is the direction that they want to go.
That's really great. Share with me, let's say 2 or 3 things that anyone watching can do that you would just suggest in whatever way that is, but maybe getting more in tune with themselves or being able to let go of what they don't believe. What would just be some good action steps that we could do or step into to improve ourselves?
Off the top of my head, the first one would be to cut the negative cords. This will help to soften the noise and the energy pulls. So using your hand, your dominant hand, like a knife or sword, and cutting the negative, unhealthy, unauthorized, dirty cords on the front of your body, on the back of your body, and even on the sides. And just by cutting the cords, it will help to boost your energy and your clarity, because you're not being pulled on and sucked on or having all these things coming in your face. Because if you don't start just isolating, so to speak, like my energy versus not mine, it's hard to be accurate in your intuitive listening. So in addition to cutting the cords, it could literally be saying, okay, mine, not mine. Mine, not mine. So when something comes up and you know that this is an energy from the ethers, this is an energy from a person that you're around, or what's happening in the world. Okay, the chaos in the world, not mine. Okay, mine, peace. Not mine, chaos. Mine, peace. Not mine, chaos. Okay, and cutting the cords, right? So it's like you can start to identify your space versus somebody else's stuff.
Disconnecting, detaching yourself from energies that aren't yours, but you've picked up on, and you're allowing that negativity to have a negative effect on your day, your energy, your emotions. And so by doing the cutting the cord helps just remove that, whomever it may be, so that you're now just being more authentically present with how you and just you feel. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, there are many energy healing schools that talk about cutting the cords, but I find that Master Choa talks about cutting cords in pranic healing, specifically using the words to cut the negative, unhealthy, unauthorized, dirty cords. And somehow
that really resonated when you said it before, and I was like, I'm gonna write that down, dirty cords.
Yeah, so
too, and I have not heard that exact expression yet, but it really resonates with me.
And then after you've cut the cords and, gotten into your own space bubble, so to speak, then connecting with your heart, touching your heart, breathing into your heart so that you can get more still, more centered, more peaceful, more calm. When our heart chakra is open, it also opens up our crown and our third eye. So if our heart is closed because we're feeling stressed or fear or anxiety, these upper chakras that specifically help us to listen and see and sense what's happening as divine messages are limited. So it's super important to be in our heart space for accuracy and so that we can actually see it and hear it and sense it and know it to be true. So claircognizance shows up where there's a knowingness. Like you might know a subject that you've never studied, but intuitively it shows up as claircognizance. Clairaudience is being able to hear the whispers from your soul, hear the angels singing, hear animals talking, hear what nature is saying right now. Clairvoyance is seeing people's energy, seeing their auras, seeing their chakras, seeing their past lives, seeing at a medical intuitive perspective. And clairsentience is feeling. So that's where a lot of the empaths are, feeling. So the trick is to feel without soaking it up by simply being that observer. And also when our heart is open, it helps to transmute the negative energies that are in our aura. So if you did accidentally, inadvertently sponge up some of that negativity that's around you, then it will help to mitigate and transmute that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Just already the idea of cutting the cord to detach from negativity and then building the heart energy strength and how that connects to your crown chakra and third eye, just opening up to the connection to source. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. There was just one other quick thing I wanted to add,
Sure.
and that is welcoming whatever you're feeling, because whatever you resist persists. But if you welcome it, then it naturally releases, it naturally transmutes. So if you're afraid of everything that's happening in the world right now, then welcome that fear, welcome that panic, welcome the chaos, welcome the tension, the contraction that you might be feeling. And just by welcoming it and breathing into it, it will release. And then you can start, being better discerning with yourself. And okay, like this is another way to reclaim your space. So you're not bombarded by everybody else's stuff.
Yes. Yes. I hear that resistance, anytime we're in a state of resistance, there's a pulling and a like going up against upstream type of energy. And so
Yes.
even to give in, even if like you're saying it's something we don't necessarily want, but if
Mhm.
you release the resistance around it, it softens the energy, and then you have more ability to navigate it.
Yes.
Welcome. Now leave. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Instead of like, I'm hiding from you, I'm so afraid of you, I don't want anything to do with it, then it has the hold on you. But I love this idea of welcoming it in. It's no longer scary, and from there it feels like there's a lot more space to release it or let it go, move it on, whatever that may look like.
Yeah. And sometimes that welcoming it in, I have people kinesthetically get into the body posture that it represents and do some release work physically as well as energetically, as well as emotionally, as well as mentally.
Great. Well, Tiffany, I want to make sure we have time to talk about your podcast. This is really
Yay!
exciting. The Soul of an Empath, and tell us, who do you have on it as guest? Who's your audience? And who watching now should definitely subscribe and tune in?
So people who want to have healing for feeling more loved, seen, heard, understood, and that they belong, particularly empaths, are my audience. I do a combination of one episode, I'll have a peer on and do an interview with them. Sometimes they'll even do guided meditations or a release work, which is really fun. And then I'll do an episode where I'm facilitating healing and coaching. So you can experience the healing in that way and also get a sense of who I am and what it can be like working with me. I'm vocal in those ones. Not every healing session with me one-on-one is that vocal, but I try to be out loud with everything that I'm doing because it's an audio, right? It's a podcast.
It's a podcast. If you just sat there
and then
envisioned it all, it would not
yes,
be
yes. And then the third type of episode is me teaching a topic. And so I've been blessed with all these fantastic peers and JV partners where I'm already recorded through mid-January. Like I have enough episodes that are still in the works of being edited through mid-January right now.
And I'd imagine many of your guests have come through JVology. Is that
the peer guests, I would say probably 2/3 are from JVology. And then my healing client guests, some of them are active clients now or from the past, and some are people who are listening to the Soul of an Empath and then putting in their request saying, hey, I want to be on the show. I do have a few spots left before the end of this year that people who want to receive healing can still get. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. And where's the best place to find your podcast? I've got it listed here on the bottom of the screen.
You can go to highlyperceptivepeopleacademy.com and just click on podcast, the tab for that. It'll guide you to my Apple podcast. And if you would be so kind as to please rate it with 5 stars and give a review, and that will help me to, grow in stats there. I'm releasing a new one every week, sometimes 2 in a week as a little bonus. And you can subscribe and stay in tune with me, and I'd be happy to keep sharing these gifts and healing and blessings.
Wonderful, wonderful. So everybody watching, if you've made it this far, then I know this topic resonates with you. Help support Tiffany and the work that she's doing in the world, and be both entertained and inspired and changed by listening to her podcast. Subscribe and give a 5-star review. What else? Give you one last chance to share before we call it a day. We missed anything that's on your heart today?
Well, I also do community discussions and healing to help end racism. That is on, you can RSVP for those at the highlyperceptivepeopleacademy.com. I do blessings for humanity, and there's one tonight specifically to help with blessings for all of the natural disasters that are happening around the world. And California, where I live, is in a state of emergency. There's hurricanes coming, to the Gulf states. I mean, there's many people who are suffering right now or about to. And if we can do some blessings to help mitigate that, I do the blessings for humanity as a gift pretty regularly. So you can also RSVP at my Highly Perceptive People Academy website for that. Yeah.
Beautiful. So it sounds like we all need to go visit the website that's posted below. You can click the link in the comments, Highly Perceptive People Academy.com. And if Tiffany has several invitations, so do what's calling to you. Whichever of those or all of those that are speaking to you, that's where you can go to find them, to join and be a part of the work that she's doing. It's very, very important. All right. Well, I'm dying to ask this question, and it's probably a whole rabbit hole. So just tell me no if you don't want to, or it's impossible to do a short version. Do you have just a short take on what's happening in the world right now, or how much longer we're going to be in this state of isolation?
I think there's too many unknowns right now to give that. One factor is going to be dependent on who wins the election.
Yeah.
Because from the leadership down, we need to make some appropriate changes. I think that the way that we have wrecked our environment through not taking care of it, our land, our water, our air, is a huge factor with all of the natural disasters that are happening. So anybody who doesn't believe in climate change, that it's not real, I mean, it's so obvious to me, intuitively and just as a human looking. So depends on how much we do to, from a natural disaster point, to clean up the environment and put back the appropriate environmental laws to protect it. In terms of COVID, I think that also is going to depend on what leadership is, brought into our election. I think that if from the top down there was consistent, strong leadership and wanting to protect and safeguard people, everyone would have been more at peace with all of this. There wouldn't be all the conflict. it's just there's been too much inconsistency, and so there's this tug of war and conflict of what's right, what's wrong, masks, no masks, 6 feet, no 6 feet. I mean, there's when we as a group can drop into our heart and connect with our soul, with God, and live from that space, peace will naturally ripple out.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for being here to shine your light on everyone today, Tiffany. We certainly appreciate you for the work that you're doing, for being a beautiful part of our JVology community. And we just look forward to supporting you and the work that you're doing and all the people that that you continue to touch and embrace and positively affect around the world.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. If you are watching this live or recorded or a replay sometime today, many of you may be new to JVology and participating in our 5-day challenge. The Ask Me Anything show is a weekly show that I do, getting a chance to, again, highlight some of our amazing people within the community. You'll also see Jay every week doing the JVology show. And who knows who he has on, but always interesting people. Just continuing to bring great value to our community. So those of you who are new and seeing this, welcome. Keep going on the 5-day challenge. I've seen amazing engagement and connections that are being made into such a beautiful space. So keep going. You're doing awesome. And hopefully we will see everyone at JVology Live the end of September. Tickets are available online now at jvologylive.com, and we'll see you there. All right, Tiffany.
I'll be there. It's a great course.
Yes,
Come.
it's fabulous. And it's online. So no matter where you are, it's an amazing 3 days. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you all soon. Bye-bye.